Today, we become legends.
A lot has been going on in the Smite scene over the last few months and years. We've had people quit voluntarily, some involuntarily, and some just move on to other things. Mythimu was probably the first big Smite creator to successfully move on from the game, and he's doing better than ever. You can get very good growth within Smite, but that growth only goes so far in my experience. Most Smite creators seem to plateau around 200k subs simply because there isn't enough interest in Smite content beyond that. So if you have dreams of making it big and getting 1 million subscribers, or you've just kind of reached that stagnation point already within the Smite scene, it only makes sense to move on to greener pastures. Myth is pretty much living the dream. People come to his channel to watch him, not to watch any specific game, and he pulls very similar views regardless of what he plays. Plus, he's broken through that 200k barrier that Smite seems to put on creators and is doing really well. Which brings me to the two more recent cases of Smite creators moving on, PunkDuck and Double J. The reasons for these were quite different, but ultimately it's two more of the top creators in Smite leaving to pursue other things. PunkDuck left because of complications with high-res and a sort of vitriolic hatred towards the game, I guess, and Double J left simply because of burnout, which is often the case for a lot of YouTubers. People paint this as strictly a negative, but it's not so black and white. For the most part, top creators leaving the scene can be good for a lot of parties involved. It's good for the creators themselves, assuming they find success of course, because they get to move on and create content they're more passionate about and can still come back to Smite if they want to, kinda like Mythimu does occasionally, and he still pulls very good views when he does that. It's good for creators like me since it allows space to rise up and become one of the larger creators. Myself, Mast, FineOK, Frost, and others have all experienced this kind of fast growth in the scene, and with other large creators moving on from the game, some of their audience will undoubtedly flock to more mid-sized channels for their Smite fix, which allows the sort of next generation of prominent Smite channels, since a lot of these larger creators that are leaving have been in the Smite scene for 5 years or more. And even that has a knock-on effect, where as mid-sized channels like my own grow, smaller channels will have a better chance to capture an audience. It sucks to lose a top creator that you've loved to watch, but there will be others, and it gives a chance for smaller creators to rise up and fresh faces to breathe new life into Smite YouTube. Speaking of which, check out all these channels that are on screen now. They're all small-ish channels you might not have heard of before, but I recommend every single one of them. If you're into my content, you'll like theirs too. But yeah, it's not all bad when a big creator leaves to pursue other things. In fact, it brings a lot of good to many parties involved. We should be happy that Myth, Double J and PunkDuck are creating content they're passionate about, regardless of what the content is. If you enjoy them for their personality or editing style, then you can still support them no matter what they play. And if you are just there for Smite content, like I said, there are tons of other channels you can explore and smaller ones that are going to rise up in their wake. Hell, I was a pretty small channel until about a year ago, so it just shows the kind of growth people can get within Smite and the demand there is for new content. People will naturally try to spin this as Smite dying and all the good creators are gone, but really I view it as more of a rebirth than a death. Smite is still growing, albeit quite slowly, and potentially due to the pandemic, not the game, and while it could be considered to be pretty stagnant, I think anyone making the argument that Smite is dying is being dishonest or is severely misinformed. All stats show Smite is doing better recently than it has in years, especially since the launch of Season 5. Perhaps not surpassing its peak, but still doing very well by most metrics, and there's clearly potential for growth on the YouTube side of things. I'm not a big watcher of Twitch or streams in general, so I can't speak for that end, but on YouTube I've seen many creators find more success in recent years than ever before. And with the old guard, so to speak, moving on from the game, there's potential for new fledgling content creators to rise to the challenge. YouTube is an ever-changing game, and there are many reasons why people may want to move on from Smite to other things. Stagnation, of their channel, not Smite in general, lack of motivation, the potential for more, or just to try something new. I can speak from experience here that doing the same thing every day for years can be boring. YouTube is much like a real job in that way, and I feel a lot of viewers don't fully understand that and will question how their favourite creator could possibly get bored making videos. After all, wouldn't we all love to be a successful YouTuber? But under the surface, it really does operate in similar ways to a job, and people feel burnout. Watching as a viewer is you enjoying your leisure time, but making that video for you to watch is viewed as a job by a lot of creators you watch, so keep that in mind and go easy on them. But yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say on this topic, short but sweet. Let me know your thoughts on the whole situation down below, especially if you enjoyed watching any of these large creators that are moving on from the game. Make sure you check out the smaller YouTubers I mentioned earlier in the video, and I'll catch you guys in another one later on. Have a great day, and peace out you nerds.